Hello, it's Judith here with the second of my What are the Symptoms of Anxiety videos. We're covering the 6 primary symptoms in this set of 6 videos. So this is number 2. Last week we did low mood, which is often a surprising one to go with anxiety. This week's is the most scary one, and that's panic or anxiety attacks. Can be really, really frightening. Now what's at work here is our old friend, or maybe in this case definitely not our friend, the fight-flight response. So the symptoms of a panic attack are effectively the symptoms of a fight-flight response, of an alerting, because your brain believes you're in a life or death situation. Now, generally and hopefully you're not. What's triggering the panic attack is what's going on in here, which is why it's linked to anxiety. So if you're doing the wonderful thing I talked about last time, which is catastrophization, which is always going for the worst case scenario in any situation, you are frequently setting off the fight-flight response because your brain thinks you are in serious danger. And the problem with it is it's hardwired. It's triggered by the release of hormones. And these hormones are perfectly good ones. They're designed to get you ready for action, because if you really are facing a life or death situation, you need to deal with it. And that normally requires physical activity, running out of the path of a car, or in the old cliche, fighting a saber-toothed tiger who's trying to fight you and eat you for lunch. So the hormones get you ready for action, and the symptoms of a panic attack are what you experience, because with an anxiety-triggered panic attack, there is nothing to fight. And although you love to run away, you can't, because it's all in here. So you can't fight it, although we do try, and you can't run away from it. So all these hormones flood your body, getting you ready for action, and there's nothing to do. There's no way of releasing what's being created. So what's happening is you're breathing faster, your heart's beating faster, your blood vessels dilated, all to get oxygen to muscles as quickly as possible. You don't need oxygen in muscles. So you've got all this stuff going on in your body. And the experience of a panic attack is very, very fast breathing, often feeling that you can't actually catch your breath, can't breathe properly, can't breathe deeply enough. So almost that hyperventilating feeling. The very fast heartbeat, which makes you think there's something wrong with your heart. The clamminess, which comes on quite suddenly. So again, that feels like an illness. And then there may be some digestive issues, because what the fight-flight response also does, as well as getting you ready for action, is to close down non-essential functions like your digestive system. So some people vomit, some people have diarrhea, many people will have stomach pains, because that's what's going on. The system is trying to close down. So people take them off to hospital with a panic attack, usually thinking it's a heart attack, or I've had patients say to me in the last few weeks, I thought I was going to die. I really believed I was going to die. And one of those, and she was laughing about it herself, is a nurse. And she said, I worked in A&E, and we used to laugh at the people coming in with a panic attack and thinking they were dying or having a heart attack. And she said, I feel so guilty now, because I did exactly the same thing, because when you're experiencing it, it is that bad. And although I know, all sorts of things, and I know that panic attacks can make people feel, I didn't realise how awful it was. And I took myself off to A&E, and some of the people who knew me there were, to say the least, a little amused that I'd turned up. And it was, I'm going to say all it was a panic attack. It wasn't going to kill you. You don't die from a panic attack, but it feels like you're going to. So what can you do about it? One very simple thing, and the reason I keep talking about this is breathing. All of the symptoms, the beating heart, the dilating blood vessels, the sweating, the digestive problems, you can't do anything about any of those. What can you take control of? Your breathing. At any time, if you can take hold of your breathing and slow it and deepen it, then you can stop the panic attack. You can reverse all those symptoms. You can get yourself out of it. So if you are suffering from panic attacks, my advice is try to notice the first thing that happens, the first thing you're aware of that tells you one is possibly imminent, and start working on the breathing then. But even if you miss that, it doesn't matter where you are. Do try, and if you've got somebody with you, ask them to help you. Do try to get hold of that breathing, and gradually, and it may take 5 minutes, it may take longer, slow and deepen the breathing, and that will reverse all the symptoms. Everything else will stop. I did this once on a service station off the M6. We'd been in an accident that we hadn't been in it. We came upon it. It had just happened. But when we got to the next services where we were going to stop anyway, somebody who'd been in the accident, but fortunately not hurt, had made her way to the service station and got out of her car and just came over to me and said, can I hold your arm and just stand with you for a bit? And why I'm laughing, it was awful. Because she'd managed to, drive the car a short distance and then went into full panic attack mode. And I just stood with her and helped her to lengthen and deepen her breathing to the point where she was able. We then took her inside and, bought her a drink and something to eat, because it's shock as well. But, I was able, just with the breathing, to get her out of the panic attack. So I know it works. I've done it for other people, and I've seen how it works for clients. So please give it a try. There is a video that you can purchase on my website for about the price of a cup of coffee. So worth every penny in my book if you're suffering from panic attacks, which will talk you through how to deal with them in a bit more detail. Or alternatively, as always, I am available to speak to you if you would like. And if you know anybody who's having panic attacks, get them to do something, please. Either go get the video or watch this or talk to me. Okay, that's it for this week, and I look forward to seeing you again in another week. And until then, take care of yourself. Bye.